Hey guys, it's me, the Afro Hamurai. I'm here with another season to taste. We've got this track that's playing in the background. And basically, I'm going to put some reverbs onto this little Juno synth that I have here, so then that way you can hear what different reverbs sound like, because I thought it would be a cool idea to do a reverb rundown. I'm talking kind of quickly. It's because I've got 6 reverbs to get through. I don't want to make this a long video. Let's get straight into it with the first one, which is your stock reverb that you have in Ableton, in my example. It's a very good reverb. When you set the quality to high, you have a lot that you could do here. You can mess with the pre-delay. You can mess with the stereo spread. You can actually change the level of early reflections as opposed to like the diffuse tail. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like. So if you're on this video and you're looking for a new reverb to buy, try out the stock reverb in whatever DAW you're using. You will be pleasantly surprised. Next on my list is a plugin that I don't think needs an introduction. I already did a video about Valhalla Supermassive, and if you haven't heard of it, just go and download it. It's also free. I use it in almost every track that I make. I'm not actually even joking. This is a delay echo sort of plugin, but it also does really good reverbs using its density function. So I use it as a reverb. I very rarely use it as a delay plugin. It's free, and this isn't the only sound it can do. It has lots of different modes, so lots of different models of different echoes and therefore reverbs that you get. So if I wanted to go for this like Great Annihilator one, for example, and play that instead, you get something completely different. Next up is the first plugin in this list that costs money. This is Spaced Out by Baby Audio. I also did a season to taste individually for this. And this isn't only a reverb. I am only using the reverb section on the right here. It does also have like a multi-tap delay sort of thing on the left. I've set this to the program of medium space. I've moved this XY to the top right, so it has 51% length and 41% lush, whatever that means. And I turned the Stardust all the way up because I wanted it to seem like really nice and spacey. This mellow is your high and low cut, so I've turned the low cut down quite a bit compared to the other ones because I have an EQ at the end anyway. I have a little bit of cleanup, and I've reduced the width a little bit just to have it a bit more in the center. Now, I kind of left the tail end there a little bit more because genuinely that's the one great thing about Spaced Out. It does add quite a nice tail. So if you're using it as a way to outro a track, pushing it up to like the 100% wet, which is done by this sort of center XY movement here, is the best way to go. Next is one that I quite honestly didn't use a lot up until I actually was planning this video of a reverb rundown. It's Toraverb 2 by D16. Toraverb is so good. I am actually so upset that I haven't used it in a lot of my tracks that I've worked on. The difference with Toraverb 2 is that it's not really made to model any sort of specific reverb. I don't think that Spaced Out is either, but this really sounds very special. So there's nothing you're going to find that sounds quite like it. I'm going to stop talking about it. It's on. We're going to have a listen to it. Enjoy. If you're a regular on the channel, you'll have seen this before. This is Little Plate by Sound Toys. It's meant to replicate the EMT 140 plate reverbs with a little bit of its own sparkle. I've turned the mix up to like halfway through. I've turned the mod on. I've set the decay to around about 8 seconds. I've put a low cut on. Let's hear what it sounds like. And that's what Little Plate sounds like. It's a really quite nice overall reverb. I don't think that anything modeled off of the EMT 140 is going to sound bad. So this is Neoverb. This is $249. There's a lot that it does. I'm going to kind of do a quick overview of it because, yet again, I don't want this video to be hugely long. But let's have a listen and then I'll explain it a bit more. So let's talk through what Neoverb does because it sounds really realistic. And the reason it sounds really realistic, at least from what I understand, is that it's not just one type of reverb. It's got 3 different reverbs running all at the same time and 3 different modules it can kind of blend together. So you can choose your blend of early reflections, the plate reverb, and the hall reverb. And with these 2 reverbs, you can change them between a hall or a large chamber, for example, or a plate, a medium chamber, or a room. And basically, you can use this as a way to drag between and choose which sort of blend you want. Neoverb also has a reverb assistant, so you can kind of set your tone, choose whether you want it to be realistic or dramatic, set the size of the reverb, set your dry wet level, play your audio in, and then it will kind of suggest a reverb that would be good for you to use that you can mess around with afterwards. And finally, because I kind of forgot a little bit, in the top right corner, it has a little bit of modulation that you can set to either be random or you can set it to be like a standard sort of like sine modulation, so that you can have some randomness put into your reverb system as well. Also forgot to mention, Neoverb, when you pull this out, lets you select how each of these separate like little reverbs work. So how the early reflections and the 2 tails that you could go between work. So like there's a huge amount going on with Neoverb and it is really deep. So that's a rundown of 5 of my reverbs and also the stock reverb that you get in your DAWs. So like as a sort of quick TLDR version for people who have maybe skipped to this part of the video, what would I suggest? Well, Valhalla Supermassive, it's free, just get it. It's genuinely good. Use it in everything. You'll know exactly when you want to use it. You'll get better at using it. Just go ahead and get it, the end. Spaced Out at its cost of $69 is, for me, absolutely worth it. You get 2 modules, both some echoes and also your really good reverb, along with that really cool lift-off function in the middle that just adds a huge amount of thickness to your effect, definitely. Toraverb 2. Don't do what I did and actually give this a chance. I haven't used this even though I've had it for ages because I kind of thought, oh, the UI, it maybe won't sound exactly as I want it to. I'm absolutely wrong. This makes perfect sense for whatever music I really make. There's a lot more depth in Toraverb 2 than I think I can cover in this video, so I'm definitely going to have to do a separate season to taste for it. Little Plate. It's still $99 for a single plate reverb. It sounds very good for that plate reverb, but it's still $99. Give it a trial. I would absolutely say give everything a trial in this list. But this is the one where I think that some people may not like it just because it has that one sound, and with a lot of the other ones, you can kind of like go in and mess with them a little bit further. Neoverb is a very deep reverb that I don't think I can summarize in a sentence. You've seen how far you can go with it. It's got a huge amount that you can do, but it is still $249. So if you're planning on getting it, you definitely want to give it a demo first. I hope you've enjoyed this reverb rundown. This is a bit of a longer video. I tried to make it as short as possible, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get this done in the 5 minutes I normally do a season to taste in. So I'm just going to jump straight into it and say bye and that.